Welcome back to another edition of Cannabis Canada with Jason Wilcox. I'm sitting here with none other than Kelly Kay, National Rep for the Coalition Against Repeal. We're here today to talk and rant about the MNPR, about the destruction it's been doing to patients, about the array of medicine that we have here in front of us, from rub that's fresh off a nice harvested plant to the oil that can be used as an extract. And Kelly is a caregiver to his wife. So before we start ranting, I kind of want to
get a little bit of that.
Yeah, talking a little bit about your work with your wife, because your wife's an incredible lady. She's really
she's awesome. She's been a lifesaver for me. But she was diagnosed with cancer about 10 years ago. And then basically, like, we were high school sweethearts, and 25-year hiatus, and then we get back together. And she's diagnosed with cancer, and so it's not good. And everything's been surgery every 3 months, surgery every 3 months, surgery every 3 months. She got medicinal with cannabis, and basically doctors said not much more they could do for her. Terminal. She maybe had a year. Well, she's still here. She's here today, and she's gone on the oil, got licensed up. We produce our own medication. It's been 5 years. They can't put no toe tag on her. She's one tough lady.
Now, when you say she's on the oil, do you mean the oil that we have here on the table?
Every day she takes at least a gram of oil.
So that's just putting it on your finger and eating it 3 times a day?
I actually put it into gel caps for her.
Into gel caps.
And then that way she just swallows it, no problem.
No yucky taste.
No yucky taste, no nothing like that. Also, we make our own cannabis cookies, which we love and eat every day. Help yourself.
I've already had them, and I can't help it. They're excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becky.
But of course, we smoke, we vape, you know, all the above. But we all use cannabis extracts in different ways. We got tinctures here that you take orally. They have rubs if you've got cuts, bruises, wounds. You know, they all help. They all help. We've seen what it's done for my wife. It's not curing her cancer. Her cancer is aggressive. It's a squamous cell carcinoma, and it's an aggressive form of cancer. And since she has refused all these surgeries of the cut and cure way to deal with her cancer, they didn't give her many options. And she refused her last surgeries, and since then, when she's gone in to have her checkups for her cancer, it's slowed down. Whereas before, every 3 months, she would have to be in for another surgery. At this point now, I mean, there ain't going back. There's no surgeries gonna happen. They did put an intrathecal pain pump into her stomach, which has a catheter that goes into the spine, which delivers pain medications directly to her when it's too much to handle, and she has a remote control for that. But by far, cannabis has been labeled wrong for many, many years. And if you don't know, get smart, get educated. And, you know, if you have issues, look into it. I mean, from at one end to the other end of the spectrum with cannabis, whether it be extracts, smoking, ingesting, however you're going to choose to use it, rubbing it on you, every way you can use medicinal cannabis has definite positive effects. I don't care what the government says about it. They're not doctors, and they're not people who are out there experiencing this. They're people in suit and ties in their little office, and they're just trying to think of numbers, number crunchers, and what's going to be the best for their political agenda.
Now let's jump into this. Now, the caregiver part is your emotions. Now, this is clear. This is understood.
Oh, yeah.
And having met your wife, and you know, we've had many conversations. We served on the national committee together for almost a year now. This is the kind of work that we do, fighting the MNPR and exposing that they were lying. Some of my frustration and anger comes in when I see stuff like this. Like you said, the oil is helping your wife with cancer, but even now in this country, you cannot legally obtain oil.
Yeah, well,
this is the part that
that's a problem, and the extractions issues has to be addressed. And I mean, sure, there should be policies in place. Everything should be done safely. Don't get me wrong, I agree with safety first. But they got to get this stigma away from it that, you know, these pharmacies are going to do what's best or what's in your best interest, all pharmacare. Like, they don't have the answers. If they had the answers, they'd already have been using this instead of having the prohibition for so many years, And yeah, I get quite adamant about it because there's no way in hell at this point that anybody's going to take this away from my wife. This has given her quality of life. She's dying. There's no two ways about it. But this has given her back quality of life. She can get up in the morning. She can do a productive day. She can get out. She can see our grandkids. I mean, government taking this away is taking my wife's life away. So how do I charge them? How do I charge them? Because they're in essence attempting to murder my wife and take away what's her God-given right. Nobody can supersede that.
Well, the right to liberty and again, I remember the right to this Section 7, the right to liberty and the security of the person. And you got to remember at the tail end of that, it says, unless it conforms to the principles of fundamental justice. So what the hell does that mean, Mr. Government?
Exactly.
What does conform to the principles of fundamental justice mean? Because I don't see anything outside fundamental justice that would justify governing this like a gun. Any of this, from flower to extract, they're governing it like a gun. And only 1942 and before, it was in pharmacopoeia and available in the pharmacy.
Exactly. And
Same
I
extract.
mean, at this point right now, too, they're like you say, they're trying to label it like a gun. Well, label it like a gun then. But I'll tell you, this gun has done wonders for my wife. So if it's protecting her life, so be it. I mean, you can't give it to her and take it away. There's no way. And I won't stand for that. If I end up behind bars because of it, so be it. But we're doing everything to the letter of the law. Since we've been legal, we've complied. We've phoned Health Canada on 3 different occasions to send an inspector to our facility to inspect everything. We want to be above board. We're not screwing around. We're always under our plant count. We don't want this taken away. We've conformed every way. We've seen what it's done for my wife. After our investment, research, everything, growing, etc., the therapeutic value alone for her is just amazing. But I mean, from end to end, all of our investment, our lives have changed because of this. And that investment, how can the government take that away or even try to compensate, which they won't?
I often just say to people, hey, look at the evolution of the cannabis culture. We're now to the point where it's taken years of people going to jail, people going and taking the courts, friggin' lawsuits, everything that I went through prior to the coalition and many others, thousands of others, to get to here. This is an evolutionary process. So I guess my frustration lies in the fact that this country, as we've discussed before, holds that there's no medical value in marijuana.
But look at their TV commercials, 300 to 400% stronger. Where do they get that from?
That is a good question. Where do they get that? Mr. Government, where do you get that stat from?
But yeah, I mean, I've seen firsthand what it does for my wife. I'm her sole caregiver. And I mean, this has been an amazing road we've gone down, her and I together. And it's helped her. It's given her quality of life. And through going down this road, we've met many like-minded people and likewise people in same positions. And I'm looking at it as how unjust this government's being. And I mean, what does the government know? Where's their professionals? They say 300 to 400 times strong. Okay.
Well, they also said fire, mold, and gangsters, and as Mr. Tusa proved in the most recent appeals, that in all the 13 years, only X number of patients have been investigated, and furthermore, even fewer charged. And it's like 0.0001%, very, very low fraction that this officer, and that he had never actually investigated a marijuana fire.
You want to know a true fact? You could go into the lower end of, say, East Vancouver, go through the Lower East Side, go to any of the hotels there, or even go into the outlying neighborhoods where the little beater houses, the real shit shops are sitting, Go through those houses where people are living and go test for mold. Now, they don't have grow-ops, okay? Or whatever you want to call them. I mean, myself, I prefer to call it my home garden. But I mean, go through any house, a regular house with houseplants.
Mr. Kurt Tusaw made a great argument on our behalf. He said, and he made this very clear, Your Honor, it's like bread. The bread goes moldy on the counter. What do? You eat it and get sick? Well, it's common sense. You throw it out. So is a grower going to just take moldy weed and say, I'm just going to go ahead and get sick anyway?
Well, and at the end
common sense around mold.
At the end of the day, take your marijuana plants, take them out of the room. Take them out of the room. put in tomato plants. Suddenly you're legal. Like,
A
you
very
haven't
valid
changed
point.
anything. You're using the exact same system.
Yeah, and we've argued, as you know, I've argued since 2012, the hobby growers and that grow exotic herbs, exotic plants,
Yep.
and just grow at home in general don't face the same scarlet letter that marijuana does.
Yeah.
We face persecution as medical patients because of prohibitionary policy. We continue to face persecution now, and even now, when I heard the Crown said, if you overturn this injunction, we want it done right away.
Yeah.
Mr. Tusaw said, Your Honor, at least give them 3 months to shut their operations down. This isn't something that can be just done like that.
No.
So it just goes to show how much the government does not ethically care, nor does the MNPR. This program is not for medical patients. That's Molson Cannabis and Marijuana Inc. moving in to serve the country of Canada when we legalize, through 7-Eleven and their other distribution networks that they're planning to put in place.
Well, straight up, if they started off with the inspectors they said they had, and they inspected every facility, they would know how long it took to set it up.
On that note, they don't have a single, through court discovery, not a single medical marijuana patient has ever been investigated in 13 years of the medical marijuana access regulations and the Medical Marijuana Access Division of Health Canada. There's a stat, friends. Not a single investigation into a grow room, but yet there's all this fire, mold, and gangsters that also doesn't exist. Fabrication. It's like, I'm so glad that the courts are based on stats and facts and that we can demonstrate through the stats and facts that this is nothing more than a red herring sent out to throw 36,000 patients who chose to grow marijuana out of 40,000 under the bus, so that then they could have mandatory minimums. It's like a triangle. Mandatory minimums make the patients into gangsters, organized crime figures, fire starters, and mold collectors, then legalize and say, this is why we got to control the whole thing. Molson Cannabis moves in and they buy us out.
And then
Where do you
anybody
stop
who
that?
stands up and gets sort of in the way of their master plan, you end up in their new jail.
Well, this is it. That's where the mandatory minimum. So again, it's like a triangular fight. It's typical warfare. And now what are they doing? They didn't expect an injunction from medical patients. They thought we would just take this.
They
friggin'
thought
no
we'd
problem.
lay down and just take it.
Yeah.
And no, that's not the way it's going to be.
And for all and all the LPs, just so I want to get this out there while I'm on this note, like LPs out there, they keep calling me up now. Oh yeah, I've been cut loose. Yeah, there's 1,000 of you. And we've shown you since 2012, they've only predicted 51 licenses in fiscal years 1 and 2, then 10 more in fiscal years 3 and 4. 61 licenses, people. The government usually doesn't project that they're going to have 1,000 when they project 61. It doesn't turn out there's going to be 1,000. That's the biggest friggin' mistake. And as you continue to learn, I hope that you call me up and say, I'd like to get involved. See, people think that this is like some legal case. I didn't get charged. Nobody got charged.
No.
We charged the federal
We've
government.
gone after them.
They're on trial.
Not us.
That's it. That's the people. You guys don't get this. We put the government on trial. Look at who's the defendant.
Yeah.
Okay, we put them. Those 4 plaintiffs were picked from 3,000 impact statements the Coalition Against Repeal took in. 3,000 from this great nation to pick 4 to represent us in the courtroom, while the rest of us do it online and on the ground, raising funds. Come out and support the coalition. Know that your leadership is here, and know that we will come out and we will rant and rave when we need to. When you need your speakers, we'll be there. We'll be in your corner. We've been a little bit silent as we continue to go through, and we have to address this in the new year because now it's $1 million case. We got Mr. Kurt Tusaw on our payroll. It was hard enough with John. Now we got potentially $1 million case. This is something we cannot lay down to. We need to look at this as the future of this country, and the constitutionality, as Kelly says, is about the future of this country. And if gardens are before the courts during the elections, for whatever reason, if it happens to be before the courts, well then that has gardens front and center for any model you, Mr. Trudeau, decide to announce to the Canadians that this is what I'm going to give to Canada. Because you haven't offered me a model yet. Everybody I talk to, it's a white sheet. Oh, well, they're working on it. Working on what?
Well,
We're approaching the election.
Yeah.
What is it? Tax and control to me means LP control and sell out of 7-Eleven. And 10,000 people say, we're going to take that. Well, 21,000 say, we're going to wait on the court decision.
Yeah, we're going to wait in the court.
Well, the rest don't even access the program because they don't want to be on the grid.
Well, that's it.
Let's just face the reality of stats.
Well, yeah, no, the reality is, there's hundreds of thousands of users in Canada, and most of them are medicinal. They use it for medicinal purposes. A lot of them have not gone in and got their government licensing just for that fact. All of a sudden now they see their head getting stretched out a little bit and the neck getting a little wider, and they're waiting for the chop to come down. People don't want to stick their neck out there. And, this day and age, grow up. Stick your neck out there. Be a somebody. If you see somebody getting assaulted on the street, are you just going to stand back? No, you're going to stand up and you're going to dial 911. You're going to get involved. That's what we've been taught. I mean, kids, something happening to kids, you stand up, you get involved. This is for us. This is for our grandchildren. This is for everybody who's to come after us.
I don't know why, at this juncture, after 2 years and 2.5 years of information and fighting, we're going into trial and we're still struggling with people not fully understanding how important and historic this fight is, and the fight for extractions at the SCC level with Mr. Toussaint, R versus Smith. Both cases are fundamental to the future of this country.
Absolutely.
On that note, I should call this meeting to an end. Kelly,
You betcha, buddy.
thanks, brother, for coming on the show.
Coalition members, all you guys out there, hang tough. Don't get discouraged, and whatever you can throw into the pot, do it, man. Every dime counts. Every dime. Don't think that $1 is too little. I mean, hey, anything's better than nothing. We got to get these bastards.
Stay tuned, because we will have Kelly in studio in the future and doing live rants, and we'll be bringing regular content to you where we'll be able to completely address the MNPR and back it up with the legal documentation. On that note, this is Jason Wilcox, and we'll see you in the next video.